Alright, we are back on sports. And you know what? It's been a hell of a weekend. And, I hope that people enjoyed at least their Christmas. And I know we're still on break here. A lot of people are on break. And, should be fun. You should be enjoying your holiday season. I see a lot of Eagles fans already saying that their holiday season is already ruined because of what happened on Saturday. And you know what? Let's talk about the Eagles now. Because, today's word will be consistency. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, haven't we? Consistency with this team. Or should I just say the team is being consistent, it's just consistently bad. But I do want to talk about Eagles-Redskins. Now, I tried to be positive last week, and I took the Eagles over the Redskins, and I said, the Eagles can beat the Redskins in a close game, very close game, if they, they squeak this one out. And you know what? The game was going that way for a minute. It was close till about mid-third quarter. And then it all fell to shit after that. But hey, it happened. But what did I say also? I said that the only reason I'm really reluctant on taking this pick was because the Eagles' consistency on not responding when being blown out the game before. We saw it with Tampa Bay, and it happened in Detroit. Then we saw it in Arizona, and what happened on Saturday? It happened against the Redskins, did we not? Okay. So, with that being said, consistency is the key here. And you can't say that these things have not happened. So, before I go any further about, how the offense played bad and the defense was just getting exposed and Billy Davis and things of that nature, we'll get into all that. But I want to start off with the fans first. That's right. Now, for those who don't know, during the pregame, before Washington Eagles fans decided to burn Deshaun Jackson's jersey. Let me speak on this, alright? Hold on. First off. This is a good example of what I said last year, and I'll say it again, alright? To those who really don't know Philly, alright? Eagles fans, they don't get scared before games. They don't get nervous before games. No. They get hype. And that is a great example of it right there, alright? Great example. Now, with this being said, I want to say that there are a lot of fans outside of our ranks, outside of our fan base, that have been taking shots at us because of this. Alright? They're saying that Eagles fans would rather burn jerseys than to win football games. Now, I think that has to be one of the most ignorant things I've heard about the Eagles fan base due to the fact that you should know that every year those fans want a Super Bowl. They're clamoring for a Super Bowl. Every year, those preseason games are sold out and things of that nature. You cannot sit here and tell me that they would rather burn jerseys than to win football games. Because if you haven't seen a backlash this season in general from all the losing, then obviously you haven't been paying attention to the Eagles fan base. To say something like that is very ignorant. Alright? That's what it is. It's almost, you're just bringing an attention whore at this point. Now, also, about this jersey burning, alright, I'm going to defend this for a minute. Because a number of you people had said to me on Twitter when it was shown, you said, Eagles fans love burning jerseys, don't they? And I said, you know what? They do. Yeah, they do. Others, some of you have said, you'd rather, take that jersey and wash your car with it the entire time and get on the dirt and just keep it on the jersey because Deshaun Jackson should be that bad. It would be more embarrassing for Deshaun Jackson. And while that is probably smarter, I had said, they could probably clean a septic tank with that jersey, but it is what it is, alright? With that being said, I am going to defend this. You want to know why? Because for those who don't know Eagles history, remember when Deshaun Jackson was here, right, when he was just wide receiver 10? Remember when he was here in Philadelphia? He said that he wanted to be just like Terrell Owens. That's what he said. He said he wanted to be just like T.O. Well, this is the defense for it. Since you want to be like T.O., you're getting the same treatment that T.O. got, okay? That's the defense for the jersey burning as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that being said, there's a number of Eagles fans that once again are just going to act like we talked about this last week, but apparently we got to talk about it again because a lot of you are being a bunch of actors. And like I said, at this point, throughout the years that I've seen this Eagles fan base, and like I said, I've seen every hardcore fan come and go, I'm going to have to say that I'm absolutely done with the Eagles fan base online that decides that they're going to be the hardest of hardcore but don't know their fucking team. Okay? I'm going to say that now. Because when you sit here and you act shocked that we lost to the Redskins, and now mind you, I picked the Eagles to win. Was I shocked that they lost? No. Okay? Because like I said, prove me wrong, Eagles. I wanted them to win this game. I predict they'd win this game. But then, what did I say? I've been saying it for how many weeks? The season is over. Did I not? Okay, we're just playing spoiler at this point. I'll get on that in a minute. With that being said, you have to understand when you're seeing a number of people that are so shocked that they lost in their house and blah, 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 blah. You've got to be fucking kidding me. The writing has been on the wall for a very long time, and it tells me that you don't know this team, or that you haven't been paying attention to this team. With that being said, I want you to listen to what the media had to say when they listen to fans, because they say themselves, the fans knew it was over. They knew a long time ago, given the way the stretch this season has been. But yet, they're still frustrated, which I can understand. If you're angry, which again, I can understand. But don't you dare act like you're fucking shocked that this happened. So let's hear what they had to say.
The fans think, what do you think about what transpired here with the Eagles being eliminated 38-24? Lost tonight to the Washington Redskins. Let's go to Jillian Mealy of Breakfast on Broad. Jillian, you'll be on there in what, like 5 hours?
Actually, I'm off tomorrow,
That's right,
which is...
I'm thinking it's Sunday.
Right?
Saturday,
and actually, yeah. Ron, to your point, a lot of people are saying, hey, at least the Eagles can't ruin my Sunday this week, so everyone at least has a Sunday that they're looking forward to. People are angry, but they get it. I mean, it's been the same story pretty much all season long. Nicholas says, Eagles are a terrible football team. The fact that they let Washington clinch the playoffs in their home stadium is disgusting, okay? Dave says, Eagles-Cowboys play each other again on January 11th. They have an 8 a.m. tea time. Woohoo! Ouch. Kyle says, I'm taking applications for a new team to root for. And Tim says, 53 angry men. How about a million angrier Eagles fans? I mean, people are still going back to that whole 53 angry men thing, but a lot of people are just saying, hey, at least the Sixers won, so people have a little bit of positivity, a little bit of it, Ron.
Are they really saying that? At least
the Sixers won, yes.
Right.
So that's...
Well. It goes to show you what I mean about being an actual Philly sports fan. Not just an Eagles fan, but a Philly sports fan. I've said on here for weeks now, this is not just a Philadelphia Eagles problem. No, I say it's a Philly sports problem in general. And it seems like a lot of people, that goes in one ear and out the other, it seems. You have to understand that this city in general, I don't want to say it's under siege because, let's be honest here, all the losing, like I told you before, I said how long ago, if you want something, if you want to be able to say, that makes you happy that you won something, you got to go out and get it yourself. You cannot rely on these teams to do something. Go get your own accolades. I've said that before, did I not? Okay, so you know what's going on. Like, this is not just something that just happens out of the blue, okay? I've been giving you warning after warning after warning all season. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about how this one fan, as you heard, the one fan was like, he's taking the applications, he wants a new team. I'm going to disagree with that part due to the fact that you have to be kidding me that you're willing to abandon the team because of what happened on Saturday. This Eagles team has been in worse shape. Do you not remember the end of the Andy Reid era? Do you not remember the players wanting to fight the fans and carrying on? Do you not remember these things? So for this team to be as bad as it is, and don't get me wrong, this team looks terrible. It is a terrible team. It is, all right? But we have been through worse, and we got through that, did we not? So don't tell me we can't get through this. But you're ready to just quit and go run to a different team. All right, leave the nest. Don't come back. It's that simple. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about the actual game because you've got to be kidding me that these things have taken place. Like I said, the things that I've seen online, it's embarrassing. And like I said, you guys last week, you start name-dropping other YouTubers. No, this isn't towards anyone in particular, okay? Because like I said, I'm seeing it on Twitter, I'm seeing it on Facebook, and these are fans who don't do YouTube, you know what I mean? So, no. There's a difference between talking to people in the city face-to-face and hearing what they have to say, as opposed to these people who overreact to just every little thing and feel as though that's what makes them a fan. No, it makes you look like a fucking idiot. And it's embarrassing. And when I say these type of things, then we have people in our comment section that says I'm whining. No, it's fans checking other fans, because that's what we do. Okay? Because when you act up way too much like that, seriously, it's got to be addressed. It has to be. This is nothing new. So, with the game, I do want to talk about Sam Bradford in a minute. All right, but this offense looked absolutely atrocious. You had, 2 fumbles. You had about 7 or 8 drops. I had said during the game, what did I say? Offense killing themselves. They're shooting themselves in the foot. Now, I want you to remember that part because we're going to talk about that as well, all right? Defense getting routed by Reed. Now, look, Everyone knew going into this game Reed was going to be the guy. Deshaun Jackson was not going to be the guy. He had, 40 yards? And Deshaun Jackson comes out after the game and says, hey, it doesn't matter what yardage I had because we got the W. That's bullshit. I'm going to call that right there, right now. Because anyone knows last season, all right, before they eliminated us, the game before, all right, Deshaun Jackson had a big game, and he was, he posted a picture on Instagram. He's like, yeah, I scored on the Eagles, blah, 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 blah. And he had to be reminded really quickly by Eagles fans, hey, you lost the game. Remember that. You lost the game. So it goes to show you that it does matter about his stats. I'm not trying to hear all of a sudden that it's just about the W, because he wouldn't have acted like that in the past if it wasn't, okay? And I'm not trying to hear that. So, with that being said, Deshaun Jackson has about 40 yards. He talks about how he got the W. He wanted to eliminate the Eagles second time in a row, in a year. In 2 seasons. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I can see why he's happy, all right? Because given the bad rap that he got, mind you, he was a difficult player to deal with. We know this, all right? But you have to be kidding me that you're going to sit there and celebrate in front of fans, all right? And trash on the fans and taunt the fans. I'll put it like this. Chip Kelly is the one that got rid of you, all right? Because for what I saw, a lot of fans were upset that they got rid of you, Deshaun Jackson. A lot of fans. Matter of fact, some fans took off their Eagles green and went to the Redskins simply because of you. So for you to bag on the fans that supported you for how long? And I will admit, if you go back to those videos, I never supported them. Never. The only time I supported him is when I did that video when they released him and tried to say he was a gang member and all sorts of bullshit. That was the only time I ever defended Deshaun Jackson. Ever. And I'll stand by that. But for you to get up there and stand up on the bleachers, stand up on the bench and everything and taunt those fans instead of actually taunting Chip Kelly, which would have made more sense, tells me just how low class you are, just how low brow you are. It's pathetic. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, you deserve to have your jersey burned. You deserve to have it run through the mud. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if people start attaching your jersey to some type of rope and then just drug it all over the place when it came to driving around the city. You've got to be kidding me that you would act that way. It's one thing to celebrate and be happy, and I understand because you just clinched in our hometown, and whatever you're going, whatever, because let's be honest here, the Redskins aren't going to make any noise. The Eagles defense made Kirk Cousins look like Tom Brady, and in an odd way, made Tom Brady look like Kirk Cousins earlier this season. It's ridiculous that you would let this guy play the way he did. That is crazy, all right? And he's known for turnovers, and you get no turnovers, but I just find it weird that in the that first touchdown that they had with Jordan Reed, when he got the first touchdown, you're playing his own defense against a guy who's going to kill you up the middle, because Jordan Reed, he's the guy. He is. Pierre Garçon is a catch possession guy. Deshaun Jackson, as we know, one-trick pony, but he can stretch the field. We know that. Reed is the guy. He's the tight end. He's the guy. And seems like throughout Eagles history, regardless if it's the Andy Reid era or the Chip Kelly era, whatever, tight ends kill us every time in the middle. Every time. It's just, you think that somebody, for everyone to be geniuses and carrying on, you would think that they would learn by history, from the history. But no. Because if it's not Jordan Reed doing it, who's done it, throughout these years? Jason Witten has done it, has he not? Every tight end has killed us pretty much in the middle when it comes to Eagles defense. Billy Davis does not know it. Seriously, when you are having, I understand that our secondary is depleted, but when it comes to those schemes and you look at those plays, Billy Davis, as far as I'm concerned, he's got to go. He's got to. This one, he's going to have to take the bullet on. And the thing is, when you look at the offense looked horrible as well. After DeMarco Murray fumbled that ball, it was like, where do you go from here? It's done. It's done. It really was. And a lot of people were saying, you pay X amount of dollars for DeMarco Murray, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, okay? Because that's all part of Chip Kelly as well. But you're paying X amount of dollars for this run game, and it's not working. Or you give them limited runs when it comes to splitting it up and things of that nature, and you're not using them the way they're supposed to be used. Like I said, we'll talk about that later. I do want to talk about Sam Bradford, because I see a lot of people saying that Sam Bradford should stay, and I'll put it like this. I am not a fan of Sam Bradford. I think the way he plays is horrible. I think what he did on Saturday was horrible. And everyone's going to look at the stats and say, well, he threw for 380 yards. The man threw 56 times. How many times in those 56 times did he take a shot actually downfield? I want to know. Because let's be fair. There was one time he threw one in the end zone that was dropped. I'll be fair on that one, all right? It was dropped. That should have been a touchdown, all right? But there's times where he's overthrown, and the rest, especially mid-third quarter, he started step padding. You know what that means? That means 5-yard passes here, throwing to the side here and there, all right? Now, this is supposed to be the leader of your offense. And for you guys to back him on this is just, I don't get it. I really don't understand the love for Sam Bradford. And it's not just about being a quarterback and your performance. Because as you know, a quarterback is supposed to be a leader. Okay? He came out not too long ago and said that Chip Kelly's offense is, favorable to quarterbacks. And, any quarterback would want to play in this offense. And I'm thinking to myself, Chip Kelly doesn't even let you fucking audible. So how comparable is this offense for you as a quarterback? Because you're not using, the full extent of your ability. You see something on the field, and you can't call fucking audible because speed of the game. You have to understand that speed of the game shit. Let's get something straight here. When you go 3 and out and speed of the game, it gives the opponent more times to, guess what? Score on you. Especially with this defense. So you have to slow it down. But they're not slowing it down. And that's the thing. If you notice, every time these previous, 2 games, play on the clock. They have that little graphic there that shows you, how long it's taking them to run a play because they have the fastest offense, blah, blah, blah. How did that work? How did that work this season? It didn't. For those who don't understand, last season, we had second-ranked offense in the league. All right? Because we actually had some playmakers. Second-ranked offense. This season, 15th rank because you don't have the pieces that you need. That's what it comes down to. That also falls on Chip Kelly. But Sam Bradford, all right, because I want to get onto this, because like I said, it's not just about being a performance leader. You also have to be a leader in the locker room and also a leader off the field. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I want you to hear what Sam Bradford has to say about this season, because I'm going to call bullshit on this, and like I said, I've talked about this in videos before. I will explain. Listen to what this man has to say.
You guys are sitting here 6-9.
Because we continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. The same things that we were doing in week 1 and week 2, we're continuing to do. And good football teams don't make the mistakes that we make on a weekly basis.
Oh, so now you want to be honest. Now, I say this because remember, when we lost to Dallas, the first game to Dallas, beginning, in the season, early in the season, I should say. Remember I called Sam Bradford on this bullshit? He said, oh, it's not a big deal. It can be fixed. It can be fixed with no problem. We'll clean it up and we'll go at it next week. And we heard week after week after week, not just from Sam Bradford, but from Chip Kelly, we got to do better. We can fix this. It's an easy fix. Don't worry about it. And every week we said, well, it's not an easy fix. What's going on here? Y'all said it was easy. What's going on? And when I said that, people jumped all over me, didn't they? Didn't they? Well, you can't say about Sam Bradford. I don't understand the love for Sam Bradford. But what I like I said, I find it funny that when I said this shit in the beginning of the fucking season and called Sam Bradford on his bullshit, now, since the season is over, he wants to admit, yeah, we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. And like I said, it's quite clear what's going on. It was obvious. If you watched the games, you saw this shit, all right? But it goes to show you that players aren't looking in the fucking mirror. They're not. They're in denial the entire fucking time until it's over, it's over. Then they say, you know what? You're right. You're right. See, instead of just being honest to begin with and being a leader and saying, look, I'm going to be honest here, and this is what needs to be fixed pronto, right away. Don't try to sugarcoat it, but, oh, we lost to Dallas in our home team, and you should know that was a big game. It's not that big of a deal. If it's an easy fix, it's not that big of a deal. And what did I say? Obviously, he don't know the rivalry between the Eagles and Dallas if he acting that way. Very nonchalant about it. Very dismissive about it. It's an easy fix. And now here we are. All right? End of the season. Yeah, we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. I guess y'all was right. Gotta be kidding me. Like, if you'd have just addressed it, if you'd have took that stance ahead of time, all right, maybe you could have did something as a leader. But once again, we're talking about a guy who doesn't speak up about not being able to use his full extent when it comes to audibles, let alone being in denial and say, it's an easy fix, it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, there's more factors than just playing football. I don't feel as though Sam Bradford is the guy here. But for some reason, you all have it in your brains that he should be the guy. Do I feel he's going to stay for another year? I'm sure he will. I'm sure he's going to get a new contract instead. I'm sure he will. If he doesn't, good riddance, as far as I'm concerned. And before anyone says, well, who can we get as quarterback? We talked about this before. We did. All right? Like I said, that's just one factor of the offense. we need to talk about receivers, because obviously this receiving core is not getting the job done. You need some receivers. That means no going to the draft and think you're going to get yourself a stud. No. Go hit free agency. Seriously, I cannot sit back and keep watching Riley Cooper do. No. Go, leave. And I understand they're not going to get rid of him yet due to the fact that they just gave him a contract, but this man has produced pretty much next to nothing all season. Next to nothing. And when you have these type of problems on offense, not just the receiving core, but also the offensive line. Okay? And we know the offensive line is a problem due to the fact that we just saw this report. Now, Howard Eskin reported the other day. He said that Jason Peters took himself out the game and said that he wasn't going to come back in the game because he's not going to get hurt for this. That's what he said. Apparently, that's what he said. Now, look, anyone who knows Jason Peters, you know every game he's hurt. And people asked me on Twitter, he said, how is this guy hurt every week, but he still made the Pro Bowl? That's a good question. That's a really good question. But the fact, it goes to show you the reason he made the Pro Bowl is it shows you that he is that important, even though he's hurt every week. But the thing is, when you take yourself out the game and say, I'm not getting hurt for this, it's a reflection of the coaching. It is. Because we've talked about this before. There's times where they would push Jason Peters, even though he was hurt. We saw the reports. He was hurt, and they would still be like, you're going to go out there and you're going to play. And every week, he'd get hurt, he'd get hurt, he'd get hurt. It got to a point where he told them at one point, where he's like, I'm not playing this week. You're not going to keep, sending me out there hurt. Like, I feel bad for him. There's one part I feel bad for him. There's another part as a fan to say, you take yourself out the game and quit. You don't do that. You know what I mean? That shows lack of heart. It's lack of respect. And I can understand why fans feel that way. You know what I mean? Once you're out there, you're out there. Play. But this is part of the front office, and I say the coach, the GM, Chip Kelly, the coaching, Chip Kelly, because you have to understand you cannot send a guy out there hurt, and he keeps getting hurt every week, and you keep sending the fuck out there. It goes to show you that this is not going to work. So yeah, it does reflect on Chip Kelly. So the offensive line, even though they have protection problems, they also have opening line problems. We see that as well, do we not? Now, let's talk about the running game. I want you to listen to what Ray Dinger has to say about the running game of the Eagles when they played the Washington Redskins. And this was before the game even started. So everyone else knew what you had to do against the Washington Redskins except Chip Kelly.
And the Eagles pregame show, Ray presented his 2-point conversion, brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. 2 keys to victory for the Eagles. March on Washington was one, Ray, and read all about it. Let's go with the march first.
Yeah, march on Washington. I said that I thought one of the things that the Eagles had to do, and I thought they could do, was run the ball on the Redskins. Because everybody ran the ball on the Redskins this year, okay? Their run defense was almost as bad as the Eagles. And over the last 11 games, they were giving up an average of 5.12 yards per rush against. Everybody was running the ball on the Redskins. And the Eagles didn't run the ball on them at all today. And 16 rushing attempts. And that's why I heard Chip Kelly say in his press conference, among many other head-scratching comments that he made, one of them was, well, we came into this game and we didn't think that we'd be able to run the ball against this team because they have those big guys up front. Well, I'm sorry, Coach, but everybody else seemed to be able to run the ball against these guys. I mean, you couldn't? And, that's one of the many issues facing this team moving forward here is you got a lot of money tied up at the running back position. You're paying your running backs a lot of money, and you're getting very little production out of them. And that's a big problem. You can blame it on the line maybe. Some of it's on the scheme. Maybe some of it's on picking the wrong players. But the fact is, as much as you're paying your running backs, you're getting very little production. And for them to get that little today against the 28th ranked rush defense in football, unacceptable.
See, I don't think I need to say anything about that. I think that speaks for itself, don't you think? I mean, the arrogance of this coach, it has to go. Obviously, it's not working. We see the pieces he's picked up. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of decisions he's made that us fans aren't very happy with and we've disagreed with. And then you have these fans that say, no, we're full on. We're going to take it. We're going to believe in Chip Kelly, believe in him. And I'm thinking to myself, where are those people now in Chip that we trust? In Chip we trust. Where were those people? I asked this on Twitter after the game. I guess it was a little too soon due to the fact that, people were hiding and carrying on. But where are they now? Seriously. You have to understand that when a coach is looking at this defense and saying, we can't run on this defense when every other team has run on, okay, I'm not going to parrot what Ray Dinger just said, but it's there, and you see it, and it's right there. The stats are there. You can't argue with this type of stuff. And the fact that you game planned and said, okay, we're looking at these guys, we can't run on them. When you paid a running back who had the best year last year, yeah, who was the best running back last year, not to mention Darren Sproles, who has proven himself, and Ryan Matthews as well. You have a three-headed monster, even though they're not performing well, but you're just going to say they can't get it done against this defense? And that's just in the beginning, like, of the planning stages? Not even trying, like, what? Like, okay. We're just going to move on. I just want to move on to football overseas. I want to move on to football overseas. I want to talk about Chelsea versus Watford. I do. And, I said last week that there was going to be a new day for Chelsea and things of that nature. And you know what? This week, it actually was pretty well. And I put it like this. All right, Chelsea versus Watford. Pretty good game. All right, I put it like that. Chelsea, they played hard. They did, man. They played hard. Those players went out there again for the second game in a row and played really tough. They had some flaws every once in a while. Cahill, horrible defense, but Chelsea showed that they can have most of the possession first half. They had, over 80% of their possession? Like, it goes to show you that this team, if you give them a chance, they can really do something. And like you guys have been saying since, the firing of a specific manager, all right, you've been saying that this team looks 100% different and better. And you know what? They do. They do. They actually look like they give a damn when they play. And here's the thing, okay? Because we've seen a lot of people get upset. I've even posted some things on Twitter what people were saying to me, after that video last week. You know what I mean? I felt that was really funny. And the fact that you did it on Christmas, too, shows me how much of a loser you are. But the fact is, all right, you've got to be kidding me, Chelsea, and I'll say this right now, all right, that you have a number of opportunities, point-blank opportunities. Talking to you, Oscar. Yeah. And you should have won this game. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that they fought back because they were down 2-1, and they shouldn't have been down 2-1 to begin with, let's be honest, but they were down 2-1, and they fought back and tied the game because when they started losing, Chelsea fans were like, oh, here we go again. And here's the thing, when Chelsea was up, fans were cool. There was no booing in the crowds. You didn't see any of those banners or signs like you saw last week. No, you didn't see that, did you? Nope, because the tears have finally dried up. Yeah, like I said, we don't need those type of fans anyway. But the fact is, the team played really well. And then, like I said, when they started losing fans, they were like, okay, here we go. And then they came back, and they fought back, and they tied the game. Then afterwards, you had a number of opportunities to win this game, and you didn't win the game. Once again, Diego Costa comes through for us. And I'm wondering, every time he scores now, I just keep saying, so, you want to call him a rat? You still want to call him a rat? After he scored, do you really want to go there? And you know what? I know that people don't want to go there because as long as they're winning or they're scoring, people will shut the fuck up. That's what it is. It goes to show you that people don't know how to handle any type of adversity when it comes to this football club. You know what? I'm really starting to think that Jose Mourinho, when he talked about the team being mentally weak, I don't think he meant the team. Maybe he meant those, sensitive-ass fans. The specific, lot of them. Maybe. Because it seems like they're acting more that way than the players are. The players fought back. They look good. Now, I put it like this. Even though they tied, they got a tie, they drawed it. I was really hoping they clean-sheeted Watford, but hey, you know what? Watford came to play, so you know what? You can't take anything away from Watford. But, Diego Costa got a yellow card. And you know what? Usually when something like this happens, Diego Costa freaks out and flips out, but he didn't. He was just like, man, all right. That's what he did. So, as we know, since he got that yellow card, and it's his X amount of number yellow card, we know that he will not be playing today against Manchester United. Manchester United, we coming today. But the fact is, we still have a good chance against Manchester United, given how they're playing. So, it'll be interesting to see what they can do today against them. I just feel as though this team is going the right direction. Even though they had a tie and they were losing, they fought back. And that's what you want. You want to see some heart. And they showed it, all right? So for 2 games now, they've shown heart. They've shown that they're playing like they got something to prove. And, I'm not even mad at that. Even though defense is still, all right, still that way, I still feel as though this is better than what we've seen in the previous, leading up to the previous season. You know what I mean? Like, they're actually playing. So I can't get on them but so much because they actually did, fight back. So that's what it is. We'll see what happens today. And I'm sure I'm going to have a number of opinions on that when I watch that game. I'm not going to be very happy about that. I just have this feeling I'm not going to be very happy about it. I want to move on because usually when we talk about football overseas, we talk about flopping. Well, not this week. No, because even last week we didn't talk about flopping with football overseas that much because I gave the Griffin Force Flop of the Week to Blake Griffin. That's right. That was a Christmas treat. This week it goes to an all-star which, if you ask me, we've talked about this time and time before about this man. Once again, you know what? No. It's more than just a Griffin Force flop of the week for this man, because I have to put it like this. It just doesn't, it's not just him. No. What he does impact the rest of his team. So let's start with James Harden. Look at this flop. You cannot tell me if a guy pushes you this way, you're going to fall this way. It doesn't happen. If you don't believe me, watch this what happened on Christmas. Then spins on the ground afterwards. Get the fuck. Come on, man. Stop this. And this is the reason why people like myself don't respect him. But, like I said, it's not just him. It becomes infectious. It's almost like a fucking plague when it comes to this type of stuff. Because then you have Beverly, who decides to flop. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not just James Harden. The entire Houston Rockets, guess what? Y'all all getting Griffin Force flop of the week. She can make them work. Parker. Come on, man. You're going to be kidding me. It's off a pick. So you're going to flop off a pick like that? Come on. You know what? But let's talk more about flopping the NBA. And I want you to listen to what Jeff Van Gundy has to say as he says that you need flopping now. That this is something that needs to be a thing. Listen to why he feels it needs to be there.
We get on him for exaggerating contact, but that's where Thompson would have been better served by exaggerating. If he would have fallen down, it would have been a no-brainer. But because he landed on his feet, common foul, no flavor. And I'm telling you, that's why you have to flop. It's almost like, I hate it so much, but if that happened to a small guy, if that happened to Steph Curry, the 3 referees would have been running over to make sure he's all right. Okay? I mean, this is the difference between bigs and smalls, stars and role players.
And this is why the league is a joke, okay? You have players who are okay with flopping. You have the coaches who are okay with flopping. The franchise, as long as they're not fined or anything happens to them, they're okay with flopping. Now you have commentators coming out and saying, yes, this needs to happen. We need to keep flopping for this reason. And Jeff Van Gundy says, to be fair, he doesn't like it. However, you have to understand that, no, he doesn't need to flop in that situation because it's not a flagrant. It's not like he grabbed him around the damn neck. He pulled him by his shoulder. That's what happened, all right? Now, if a guy tries to keep himself up balance-wise, then guess what? It goes to show you that he doesn't need to do it. Like I said, would these people do this if it was on concrete, on the blacktop? No, they wouldn't. Because, as we know, there's no flopping in street ball because you would get hurt more than what you do if you get fouled. That's what would happen, okay? But the fact that he's endorsing flopping and then say, if that was Steph Curry, there would be, all these people around him, all these refs watching, that's because he's a star. And as we know, this has nothing to do with bigs and smalls, all right? It really comes down to superstar versus either mid-tier or high-tier, whatever player, okay? That's what it comes down to. The fact is, Steph Curry would get a call because he's Steph Curry. Just like LeBron gets calls because he's LeBron. We've seen Jordan back in the day. I believe there's a clip on YouTube now where Jordan talked to the ref, and the ref says, look, I'm not going to go against what you're saying, Jordan, because you're Jordan. I'm going to call this foul simply because you want it. Yeah, maybe next week I'll show that. All right? But you got to be kidding me that this is something that happens. This is what you call favoritism when it comes to superstars. And it has been a problem since the 90s, I'm going to say. I won't even say the 80s because we had the Pistons, the Bad Boys and things of that nature that were in the 80s. And within the 90s, you had the Celtics, you had the Lakers, and they were hard fouling the shit out of people. And sometimes they wouldn't get called. So I'm not going to say the 80s. I'm going to say the 90s on because Jordan got away with a lot of traveling. He did. A lot of traveling. It was never called on him. Superstar calls and favoritism. It is something that the NBA has not fixed for a very long time. And the fact that this is what it comes to. It's evolved into this, I'm going to flop, and that's it. And if you call me on it, you call me on it. If not, oh well, it just makes me look bad. Yeah, it also disrespects the game because people who work hard to get to where you're at don't have to deal with this type of shit until now because now it's starting to trickle it down to the colleges as well. Matter of fact, we've seen in rec leagues, we see that little boy I showed you a couple months ago. That little boy, he had to be about, 8 years old, maybe 7? And he flopped. And he got the call, and he's like, yeah, because he flopped. When you are celebrating flops, there is a problem. And it seems like people aren't taking it seriously enough. Like I said, finding people is enough. When you're giving superstars millions and millions of dollars, and they make millions and millions of dollars off endorsements as well, and you want to find them, I'm going to find you $5,000, maybe $15,000. That's nothing. That's a drop in the fucking bucket. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the franchise paid for it. You know what I mean? So that's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? You got us to where you need to go. But the fact is, you've got to be kidding me that this is something that is just here to say. It shouldn't be openly endorsed. I don't care if Tristan Thompson got fouled. He stayed on his feet. You know what it tells me? He did the right thing because he stayed on his feet and he didn't embellish it. That's a real player right there. That's what it tells me. Now, if he starts flopping from here on out, you can't blame Tristan Thompson because of all the endorsement that's going on by Jeff Van Gundy, all right, facilitating it to the public. Hey, it's okay because this is what he should have did in order to get the call. How about he just got screwed out of the call because the refs decided, hey, it wasn't, a flagrant. I personally felt it wasn't a flagrant because he was grabbed by the shoulder. You know what I mean? He stayed on his feet. It's one thing if he's wrapped around his neck and he pulled him down or whatever. That's a flagrant. Back in the day, sometimes that would just be, you just get a regular foul for that. You know what I mean? But it goes to show you that if you're going to sit here and openly endorse that, I hate it, but it needs to stay. No, it doesn't. How about people stop acting like a bunch of damn divas and play some basketball? That's what you get paid to do. You don't get paid to act. You get paid to play basketball. You want to get paid for acting? Go to Hollywood. Seriously. Anyway, speaking of more basketball, I want to talk about Philadelphia 76ers. I said I have to talk about Sixers. I said it. Right? Congratulations! You won your second game! We are now 2-30. Yes, Sixers. Team excellence. It's on its way. Look, I want to talk about the Sixers due to the fact that when the Sixers win or lose, the fans only get hype simply because the Sixers reach 90 points. And for those who don't understand why fans cheer when the Sixers get 90 points, I want you to hear the live reaction from the fans and the commentaries themselves on why the fans are cheering once the Sixers hit 90 points.
That still count as a doubleheader? Just absolute sports, right? Yeah.
It's your basic hockey, basketball doubleheader?
At the very least, a Philly doubleheader out west.
Yeah.
Fans are excited in the building about the 90 points being reached, Mark.
That's because the day after the Sixers scored 90, Holla, or more that is, get 50% off the regular online menu price. Use the promo code Sixers at PapaJohns.com.
Too bad.
Yo, they happy because they're getting 50% off a pizza. That's right. Not because the Sixers will win or because the Sixers will lose, but because 50% off pizza. Now look, I will put it like this, okay? Before, the Sixers they would have to score 100 points. This is before, in order to get the 50% off. Now, they have to score 90 points. So as bad as the Sixers are, the deal has been dropped down 10 points because they don't think the Sixers can hit 100. Like this. This is just, oh my God. I'm telling you, it's so bad. But speaking of bad performances, let's look at the last 6 games when it comes to the Sixers. And once again, we talked about not too long ago the Eagles shooting themselves in the foot. Let's look at the last 6 games of the Sixers and their turnovers. The sad part about these turnovers is that if anyone's watching these games, they don't get back on defense after a turnover. They don't even try. They just stand in one spot. That's right. So they just watch the team just run by them and score them. Their spirit is crushed. Maybe they could join, that lot of Chelsea fans as well. Because it's just absolutely ridiculous that the Sixers would be that sensitive and not try and get back on fucking defense. But that's one thing. I do want to talk more about the Sixers. And this may be more of a blow to fans who, believe in the process. Because, as we know, a couple weeks ago, Jerry Colangelo already said that the process is over. He said that, did he not, when he hired him? Now, and I gave you the link to that as well. I'll give you the link to this one as well, to this report as well. Sam Hinkie has come out now, if you were a believer of the process, he has come out and admitted that he has done a number of things wrong. So, let's talk about it. The link will be in the info bar for that too. Let's start with Jahlil Okafor. That's right. As we know, he's had about 4 different incidences that, off the court problems. And apparently Sam Hinkie never addressed those things. That's right. Never addressed them. Didn't even try to. Went into hiding and let Brett Brown address everything. That's right. So he just left them, hung them out to dry. Then you understand why the Coaches Association is mad at the Sixers front office. We already talked about that not too long ago, didn't we? Now, with that also being said, okay, let's talk about the other problems that Sam Hinkie has admitted he's done. He has a problem with not getting back in contact with agents for players. That's right. He either calls them back late or doesn't respond to them at all. That's right. So if we were supposed to bring any type of talent in here, agents now have pretty much got together and said, don't give the Sixers anything. That's right. Even one agent went on record to say, I will not give my high caliber, my high star athletes to the Sixers. I wouldn't want them to play there. Mid-stars, mid-tier players, I'll let them, play for the Sixers if, and it says if, they overpay. That's right. So it goes to show you, and we know that this has been a problem for a long time now with the Sixers. What do we say? If you want to get paid, come to Philadelphia. Because the only way you're going to come here is if they overpay you for your performance. Right? We've talked about this for years. Like I said, being a Philly sports fan and knowing this stuff and seeing it throughout the years, and now to see that they're actually admitting this. So let me get this straight. You have the number of agents as a collective are mad at the Sixers front office. You have the Coaches Association, a number of them, mad at the front office. How is this supposed to be fixed by Sam Hinkie if he's burning all the bridges? I guess he's going to just address everything in the draft. Hope you get that one player that is just going to be the most dominant player, in history. Is that it? This is why free agents haven't come here. This is why agents are telling their players, don't even think about it. This is why we have a bunch of D-League guys playing. Sam Hinkie is the problem, if you haven't realized it. It goes to tell me when you see this type of stuff. So for you fans that believe in the process, the guy who is in charge of the process has screwed the process. I've said it time and time again. But yet you still have these fans that keep believing, well, what do you want us to do? Blah, blah, blah. Look, you have to understand, there are obviously avenues to go down, but he burnt the bridge. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, but he admits this. Any other GM, guess what? They'd have been fired by now. They'd have been fired. But of course, they won't be fired because for some reason the Sixers need to keep this thing going. But if you bring in Jerry Colangelo, he's going to mentor him. How about you just let Jerry Colangelo be the GM and just save the fucking time whatsoever? Why don't you just do that, all right? And of course the media says these type of things. And we've seen how they've just drugged the Sixers through the mud as much as possible. And it's mostly non-local, But you know what? I'm getting real tired of seeing ESPN do this spiel, and I've exposed them time and time again when they've tried to look cool. And you remember a long time ago when ESPN said that they didn't like wrestling? Remember that? Remember how they just bagged on wrestling and was like, WWE, whatever. We don't think it's real. We're not even going to cover it. Then as of late, we saw a lot of people who used to work in wrestling start to move over into ESPN, like Jonathan Coachman and things of that nature. Todd Grisham, as you know, he does the boxing stuff now, with Teddy Atlas. So, and Fred Tessitore. But as we know, Jonathan Coachman's on there now. Now, since it's become a popular thing, as we know, they cover WWE, once every month, I believe now they cover WWE. So, now that they're doing that, now they're deciding to try and be hip and try to be cool, and just like they took from rap and tried to take from cartoons and things of that nature and use the specific slogans, now we have them taking from wrestling. And for those who know what I'm talking about, listen to what they say about the Denver Broncos.
Once again, just into SportsCenter, Brock Osweiler will get the start Monday night in the Monday Night Football season finale against the Cincinnati Bengals.
That is sad. I'm just saying it's sad they have to go that route after bagging on wrestling for so long. You know what? I'll just leave that to you wrestling fans. I think I'm done for today. Yeah. I think I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Yeah. Brock Osweiler. Okay, yeah. I'm out.